At 84, Dionne Warwick finally tells the truth about Michael Jackson. Dionne Warwick was born Marie Dionne Warwick on December 12, 1940 in East Orange, New Jersey. From when she was very young, music was a huge part of Dionne's life. She grew up in a family that loved music. Her mom managed a famous gospel group called the Drinkard Singers, and her cousin was the amazing Whitney Houston. Dionne started singing gospel music as a little kid at the New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey. She later joined a group called the Gospel Heirs, which she made with her sister Dee Dee Warwick and other family members. This early time singing gospel music didn't just help her voice get better, but also taught her how to put deep feelings into her singing, which became something special about how she sang. Warwick's big break into popular music happened in the early 1960s when she was found by two songwriters named Burt Bacharach and Hal David. This team-up would become one of the most famous partnerships in pop music history. Together, they made a bunch of amazing hit songs that showed off Warwick's beautiful voice and how well she could express emotions. Songs like Walk On By, I Say a Little Prayer, Do You Know the Way to San Jose, and Anyone Who Had a Heart became instant classics, mixing fancy melodies with lyrics that people could really relate to. Warwick's way of singing Bacharach and David's songs helped create the sound of that time period and set the bar high for pop singers. Her voice was clear, elegant, and easily expressive. It stood out during a time when loud, powerful singing was becoming popular in soul and R&B music. Instead of trying to sing louder than everyone else, Warwick's strength was in how she could show complicated feelings with gentleness and grace. Her way of singing phrases was perfect, and her ability to understand lyrics made each song have its own personality and emotional truth. Because of this, she became one of the few African-American women of her time to become successful on the white pop music charts without giving up her roots in black musical traditions. Warwick's success went way beyond the 1960s. She kept growing as an artist through the 1970s, 1980s, and after that, learning new styles and working with artists from different types of music. In the 1980s, she had a major comeback with the hit song That's What Friends Are For, which she sang with Elton John, Gladys Knight, and Stevie Wonder. The song not only went to #1 on the charts, but also raised millions of dollars for AIDS research and awareness, showing Warwick's growing role as someone who helps with good causes and speaks up for what's right. Throughout her career, she has always supported causes that help people, working as a United Nations Global Ambassador for the Food and Agriculture Organization and fighting for health, education, and equality. Besides her music, Dionne Warwick has also made her mark on television and popular culture. She hosted the hit TV show Solid Gold in the 1980s and has stayed a familiar and loved public person through her appearances on talk shows, game shows, and most recently through her funny and honest presence on social media. Her humor, warmth, and being real have made a new generation of fans love her, making her status as an icon for multiple generations even stronger. Warwick's achievements have been recognized with many awards and honors, including being put into the Grammy Hall of Fame, the R&B Music Hall of Fame, and getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She is also one of the most charted female singers in history, second only to Aretha Franklin on the Billboard Hot 100 between 1955 and 1999. Yet, despite her huge commercial success, Warwick has always stayed humble, proud of her simple beginnings, and committed to using her fame for good. In 1966, when her early success as a singer was at its highest, Dionne Warwick married actor and jazz drummer William Elliott. Their marriage got media attention not only because of Warwick's growing fame as one of the most successful singers of the 1960s, but also because Elliott was a performer too, having appeared in TV and movie roles and played drums with different groups. Despite their shared background in entertainment and what seemed like a glamorous pairing, the marriage had problems almost right away. Within just over a year, In May 1967, Warwick and Elliott got divorced, a decision that surprised fans and people in the industry, who had seen their relationship as a promising match between two rising stars. However, being apart didn't last long. Showing how complicated and deep their bond was, Warwick and Elliott got back together only a few months later and chose to get married again in August 1967. This time their wedding happened in Milan, Italy, maybe as a way to start fresh away from American reporters and the pressure of their busy careers. Milan, a city known for its beauty, fashion, and romance, was a beautiful backdrop for their second try at building a life together, showing both their hope for the future and how Warwick's career was already taking her across Europe and beyond. Their renewed commitment soon became a family. On January 18, 1969, while living in East Orange, New Jersey, Dionne gave birth to their first son, David Elliott. David would later follow the family tradition, becoming a musician and actor himself, even performing with his mother sometimes, showing more evidence of how deeply music runs in the Warwick family. East Orange, a city closely connected with Warwick's roots, played an important role in her personal and professional growth, giving her the grounding and support of a familiar community, even as her fame grew around the world. In 1973, Warwick gave birth to her second son, Damon Elliott. Damon would go on to become famous in the music industry too, not just as the son of a music legend, but as a producer, composer, and performer who worked with many different artists across different types of music. His career shows the lasting musical legacy of the Warwick-Elliott family, proving that Dionne's influence went far beyond her own chart, topping hits and into the next generation of music makers. Despite these family joys, the marriage between Warwick and Elliott kept having tension and problems. By May 30th, 1975, after years of trying to keep their relationship working while dealing with the pressures of fame, being parents, and individual careers, the couple officially separated. Later that year, in December 1975, Dionne Warwick was granted a divorce in Los Angeles, bringing an official end to a relationship that had lasted nearly 10 years, including its brief break. The divorce proceedings showed deeper problems that reflected not only personal conflicts, but also the social dynamics of that time. Elliott asked for $2,000 per month in support while waiting for a community property trial, and an additional $5,000 to cover his legal and personal expenses. At the time, he said he was earning just $500 a month, while Warwick, on the other hand, was making about $100 a month, an amazing income that showed her success as an international recording artist, television performer, and touring sensation. Adjusted for inflation, her monthly income in 1975 would be equal to roughly $584,000 in 2024, showing the financial imbalance between the two and the unique pressures placed on high-earning women in the public eye. The court ultimately said no to Elliott's request for financial support, emphasizing Warwick's status as the main earner and effectively the financial foundation of the family. In thinking about the situation, Warwick offered an honest and touching commentary on the gender roles and expectations that shaped her experience. "I was the breadwinner," she explained. "The male ego is a fragile thing. It's hard when the woman is the breadwinner. All my life, the only man who ever took care of me financially was my father. I have always taken care of myself." Warwick's personal life has also been connected with her musical legacy, especially through her family. In 1993, her older son, David Elliott, who had worked as a Los Angeles police officer before, stepped into the spotlight as a songwriter and musical partner. That year, he co-wrote the duet "Love Will Find a Way," which was performed by Warwick and her cousin, the late superstar Whitney Houston. The song appeared on Warwick's album, Friends Can Be Lovers, and was an important moment that mixed family ties with musical artistry, David's involvement in that song marked the beginning of a new chapter in his career as a musician and creative force. Since 2002, he has often toured with his mother, performing live on stage, both as her drummer and as a featured singer. His performances have included powerful mother-son duets that add a personal and emotional touch to Warwick's live shows. Besides his musical work, David expanded into acting, making his screen debut in the 2001 biographical sports drama Ollie, directed by Michael Mann. In the film, he played the legendary soul singer Sam Cooke, a role that required not only acting talent, but musical authenticity, skills that David had developed over years in the music industry. He also developed his craft as a singer, songwriter with work that includes contributions to notable songs such as the Grammy-winning hit Here and Now by Luther Vandross. His mix of songwriting, performance, and musical direction shows the artistic lineage passed down from his mother. Warwick's younger son, Damon Elliott, has also carved out a special path in the music industry, earning recognition as a talented music producer and composer. With a career that spans different types of music and generations, Damon has worked with many different major artists, including pop and R&B stars like MYA, Pink, Christina Aguilera, and Keisha Cole. His production style is known for being versatile and having emotional depth, and he has played a key role in shaping the sound of multiple hit records. Damon also used his expertise to support his mother's career directly. In 2006, he arranged and produced her album, My Friends and Me, released under Concord Records. The album featured Warwick performing duets of her classic hits alongside a lineup of contemporary female artists, bridging the gap between generations of musicians and showing her continuing influence on the music world. Damon's production brought a fresh and modern touch to Warwick's iconic catalog, earning critical praise and reinforcing the creative teamwork within the Warwick family. Warwick's ongoing musical achievements continued into the next decade. In 2013, she released the album Now, a thoughtful and mature collection of songs that paid tribute to her expansive career. The album was met with acclaim and earned Warwick a Grammy Award nomination in 2014 in the traditional pop category, confirming her continued relevance and artistry well into the 21st century. After decades of silence, music legend Dionne Warwick, now 84, has decided to speak honestly about her personal experiences and private thoughts about the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Warwick, whose own career spans over 6 decades and includes classic hits like Walk On By and That's What Friends Are For, was in a unique position within the music industry to witness Jackson's amazing rise and his deeply human struggles through a lens that few others could. As a veteran artist who came up through the golden era of Motown soul and pop, Warwick worked with many of the same people and institutions that shaped Jackson's life. In her later years, with nothing left to prove and no illusions to maintain, she is finally lifting the veil on one of music's most mysterious figures. Warwick revealed that her memories of Jackson are filled with both admiration and sadness. She spoke of first meeting Michael when he was still just a wide-eyed child prodigy, the youngest member of the Jackson Five, performing with a brilliance that was way beyond his age. Even then, she said, there was something otherworldly about him. Not just his talent, although yes, his voice, his timing, his stage presence were years ahead of where he should have been, but his spirit. There was a sadness there even as he smiled. Warwick remembered visiting Motown studios in the early 70s and seeing how young Michael was being pushed by the record label, by his father, and by what the world expected of him. She could already see that the huge pressure he was under would one day take a heavy toll. As Warwick built her own legacy in the industry, working with Burt Bacharach, advocating for AIDS awareness, and serving as a cultural bridge between generations, she watched Jackson's transformation from a child star into a global icon. She did not shy away from the truth, when she described her concern for the psychological cost of fame on someone so sensitive and gifted. Michael was like a sponge. He absorbed everything, the love, the criticism, the expectations, but the problem with a sponge is that it can only hold so much before it starts to fall apart. She noted the deep loneliness he often carried, especially during the later years of his life. One of the most touching truths Warwick shared was her belief that the world never truly understood Michael, not as a person, not as a soul. People saw a spectacle, she said. They saw the moonwalk, the glove, the scandals, the surgeries, but they didn't see the little boy who never really got to grow up. They didn't see how he tried to stay kind, how he tried to hold on to something innocent inside of him, even as the world kept taking pieces of him away. Warwick's words carried the weight of someone who has seen fame's two sides, its dazzling highs and soul, crushing lows. Warwick also talked about the controversies that have long surrounded Jackson's legacy, especially those that came up after his death. While she did not try to defend or condemn, she emphasized the importance of empathy and truth, telling, "I'm not here to rewrite history." She said, "But I do believe in compassion. We lost a man who was in pain for much of his life. He gave us music that lifted the world, but he couldn't always lift himself." She emphasized that Jackson's humanity, his fears, his traumas, his generosity, and his flaws must be part of any honest conversation about who he was. For Warwick, speaking out now is not about creating drama, but about healing. At 84, she says she wants to leave behind clarity, not confusion. "We all have our truths to tell," she explained, "and sometimes we wait until we've lived enough life to understand them fully. I've lived long enough to know that telling the truth, especially about those we've lost, is an act of love." In revealing her perspective on Michael Jackson, Warwick offers a rare, deeply personal glimpse into a story we thought we already knew. One that reminds us that behind every icon is a human being, fragile and real.